Hello, it's Gabby here for you. And in this week's podcast, I'm going to be looking at living your life in balance and a tool that we use as coaches, sometimes called the Wheel of Life or called the Wheel of Fortune. The premise behind this is if you are not living your life in balance, you can be totally thrown by a bad event, maybe a cancer diagnosis, maybe the death of a loved one, maybe the loss of a job. Problems can really occur if you base all of your happiness on one thing. If you are totally, as I used to be, very work focused and you base your identity and your status and you think everything about you is based on your job, and then you get told you're being made redundant, your world is literally, it feels like just the rug is pulled from under your feet. It's a very unstable basis on which to live your life. Okay, it sounds really obvious, but a lot of us do it. And so the Wheel of Fortune is a tool where we look at various areas of your life and think about, where do you get your happiness from? Where do you get your fulfilment from? Are you living your life in balance? And if you're not, there's no judgment here. Let's just think about what we can do about that. If you imagine a big circle on a piece of paper, and traditionally it's divided into 8 sections, but you can divide it in as many sections as you would like. And when I start with a coaching client, it's always good, if you're feeling particularly overwhelmed, to think about the areas of your life you might want to improve, things that you might want to change. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you. And what I'm saying is we all strive sometimes to think, I'd like things to be better. I would like to live more in balance. I'd like to have some more time for me. Whatever it is, whatever the need is that you've got, it's always useful to just take that step back, spend a little time reflecting on different areas of your life. And the Wheel of Life can be a really useful tool to do that. So if you've got your piece of paper and you've got your big circle divided into 8, into segments like a pie or a pizza, okay? And traditionally, I'll tell you the headings that are in each section, but really you can put any section into this that you would like. So for instance, you might have romance or relationship as one section, family as another, career or business as another, friends might be another one, health for a section, and wealth are common ones, spiritual, and then the last section, fun stuff. Now, as I say, you can put anything you want to, anything that's important in your life you can put into these sections. But it's always a good exercise to do when I start with a coaching client, is to look at this Wheel of Life and think, okay, for each of these sections, just rate yourself out of 10. Where 0 is, I'm absolutely so unhappy with this in my life and nothing is going well. I can't find anything in my life that's good. And 10 is, oh yeah, I've got this sorted. I've got this buttoned down. I'm perfect at this. Life couldn't be any better in this area. And for most people, we're somewhere in the middle in each of these things. If we talked about family on a scale of 1 to 10, if you were to rate yourself, your happiness in that area of your life, and there's no judgment in this. Again, this is a good exercise to do, to be quite detached from the outcome, but just think about if things are not working out in the way that you would like, if things are not in the place that you would like, why is that? So I'm not trying to fix this at this stage. All we're trying to do is assess where you are starting from. So if you are starting in family, say, and it's a 5 out of 10, the next question I would ask you is, well, what makes it a 5 out of 10? Okay, tell me about that. Tell me about the things that are going on for you, what's working well, because obviously you're a 5, you're not a 0, so some things are working well. And what things are not working so well? What things would you like to improve? And so by going through this, and again, as I say, we suggest in coaching 8 areas of your life. It can be more, it can be less. You can pick when you are working with a coach or a therapist which areas of your life you want to work on. What we're trying to do is establish for you, what does a balanced life look like? And for instance, it may well be that some people are really, amazing. They've got a 10 out of 10 for their career or their business. They couldn't be going any better. They're at the top of their game. They're getting promotions, or if they've got their own business, everything's going fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. But what about the rest of the wheel? And sometimes we talk about the wheel being out of balance. If your business or your job is going fantastically well, what about your relationships? What about your family? And I say, there's no judgment here. It's just something to step back, reflect, take stock and think, is that working for you? How would you like it to be? For most people, they don't consider their health until they have a health crisis, which is exactly what happened to me and many people that I know. You take your health for granted maybe when you're younger, if you've always had good health, if you've been lucky enough to have that, you sort of take it for granted that you're going to be okay. And it's maybe over the years that little habits slip in that you don't even realise that are not doing you any favours. Maybe you're not getting enough sleep. Your nutrition is not what it should be. All these little habits slip in. So your health is not quite optimum, but it's okay. It's, you're like most people. You're functioning. You're keeping on going. You might need that shot of coffee in the morning to get you out of bed and to give you that kick to get you out the door. But you might ask yourself, doesn't everybody live like that? Doesn't everybody need that shot of caffeine? And so it's not until you have a health crisis sometimes that you take that step back and think, actually, I think I was okay. I thought I was okay. But actually, there are some improvements I could make. And again, there's no judgment here. I'm not sat here telling you that I'm perfect. I'm not sitting here talking to you saying that I've got everything sorted in my life. What I'm saying is I've got some coaching tools that are really easy that I can talk through with you. I'm going to do a little video about this, I think, maybe more of a visual thing. But if you look at this wheel of life and think about balance, are you giving more effort, energy to one area of your life and neglecting another area? And sometimes, people do New Year's resolutions, which I'm not really keen on because for me, it could be too overwhelming. Just think, I'm going to change everything. I'm not happy with my home. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to sort my health out. Too many things all at once. But it can be sometimes just baby steps in the right direction. But where do you focus? If you've got more than one thing that you want to work on, it can be really easy to become overwhelmed. And so looking at the wheel of life and thinking about your balance, and if all of your scores maybe are low, maybe let's try and get them all to a 6 or a 7. We would like everything to be a 10 out of 10. Of course we would. Life's not like that. We're not striving to be perfect. We're just striving for happiness. And sometimes it takes a little bit of reflection to step back and think, well, what would make me happy? Actually, I'd like to spend more time with my family. And that is another one that people sometimes have out of balance if they're working really hard on their career, believing for all the right reasons that they are striving in their career and bringing home the money so that their family can have a better standard of living. But particularly if you've got a relationship or you've got children, they may prefer for you not to be at the top of your game at work, just doing okay, but actually spending more time with them. And it's just thinking about that, reflecting on that. And again, no judgment. But in your heart, when you sit and think about these things and sit with yourself and think about how you feel about these things, what areas of your life would you like more balance in? I've put spiritual there, not because particularly you might be religious, you may be not. And again, there's no judgment and it's a very individual thing. Some people really find that being spiritual or having a religion enriches their life so much. And some people find it a great comfort to them to know that they are part of something bigger, maybe part of a community. You might be part of a church, or you might be part of a movement, or you might be part of a way of thinking that connects you with like-minded people. And that's just getting you away from the day-to-day business of existing, of eating and drinking and going to work. Something spiritual, something maybe at a higher level, connecting you with whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, the universe, with God. Where are you with that? Are you making time for that? For some people, it's just as simple as a daily meditation practice, which can sound very woo-woo and very out there for some people. But for some people, like myself, it's just 5 minutes sitting, listening to a meditation music or just watching a candle and just breathing for 5 minutes. And that's stilling the mind. Just those 5 minutes every day of letting your mind just be empty. Not thinking, not worrying, not planning, not working, just resting. Not sleeping, but awake consciously, meditating and being with yourself. It can be quite enlightening for some people. Some people hate it, some people love it, and that's up to you. I didn't really touch on wealth because, again, that's a very individual thing that I might want to talk to a coaching client about, and it would be a confidential conversation, obviously. But it's, what does wealth mean to you? Some people are very money orientated, as we know, and it means a lot to them to be able to establish themselves, to have a lot of wealth, to have a big house. For other people, it may well be they just want to get their outgoings covered. It may be they want to work on a plan. For some people, it may be they just want to know if they were ill or if they were to retire, they would still have passive income. And so that could be something that we could work on as well. The last one there, it's not really last, it's just the way it's come in the circle of life, if you like, or in the wheel of fortune, or whatever you want to call this big circle. And that's fun stuff. And so where do you rate yourself on fun stuff? Are you taking enough time to have fun in your life? Do you have fun in your life? Do you consciously seek things out that are enjoyable for yourself? It could be as simple as just watching something funny on YouTube. It could be going to a comedy store. It could be playing with some children, grandchildren, friends, whatever. It could be a good social life. It could be going to watch live music. That's a big one for me. That's really, really important in my circle of life. And, it's one of the things during the pandemic that we really, really missed was that connection, that feeling of being in a venue with fans, other fans, that were singing along to the live band. That for me is fun stuff and something that I want more of, and something that I make a conscious effort to think, I've not got any bands booked in for a couple of months. I must do that. So as I said to you, the circle of life, or the wheel of fortune, some people call it, it's not about judgment. It's just about a little tool that you can use to step back and think about your life, and is it in balance? And imbalance is such a personal thing to you. Nobody's right or wrong. It's whatever works for you. But think about the different aspects of your life, because we are not one-dimensional creatures. We all operate on very many levels. And to be truly happy and fulfilled, it's good to get some scores in each of those areas. None of us wants to be that person who is doing really, really well at work, or really, really rich, but has got no intimate relationships, or has got poor health. We all want that balance in life. And so this is a tool just to start you thinking about where you are now. And if you want some help with any of those things, reach out to me. You know where I am. If you are recovering from cancer, which I know a lot of my listeners are, there's a lot of free resources for you on confidenceaftercancer.co.uk. Get in touch with me. Let me know how you're getting on. Have a brilliant week, and above all, stay safe, stay sane. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.